I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and my cardiologist is across the room from me. My mom next to me, as she always promised to be. After being shown from room to room, being hooked up to what seemed like every machine possible in each one, I was being diagnosed with a life-threatening heart condition. It was the same diagnosis my mom had received a year before. And the diagnosis was just like echoing in my head. And because of that, the doctor and I were each having a conversation with ourselves. She tried to explain what the next steps were and what all was happening, but all I could hear was my heartbeat. It's funny, as chaotically rhythmed as it was, it seemed to be the only thing with clarity in the moment. I was going to need surgery, a defibrillator implanted in my chest as a means to help keep me alive. Kind of like Iron Man. I'm obviously not a superhero, I'm just an ordinary guy with a hereditary heart condition, but in that moment, I couldn't help but relate to him and all other superheroes I grew up watching on the movies. Not the way that you're thinking, that I'm thinking. There's a hero, he looks strong, and they look tough, and they look perfect, and they face a villain, they save the day, they gain popularity and celebrity status, and everyone loves them. The end of the movie, right? That's the end. But what I noticed in every movie and in every hero's story, they're always humbled in some way. They face a moment where they realize they aren't perfect. They're imperfect, actually. Iron Man, for instance, needs his arc reactor bionic heart to survive. It's an imperfection. But that imperfection turns out to be the thing that actually makes him a hero. Our imperfections are what makes us the perfect person for our purpose in life. And it's to love people, it's to be kind to people, it's to save people with our actions, and to save the world with one kind gesture at a time. I'm starting to realize that our imperfections, they make us shift our mindset from being selfish to selfless. You see, humility is actually a superpower that we can all possess and work on. It creates a hero's heart. And fast forward 7 years later, and I'm standing in a different office, not my cardiologist. I'm standing in my home office with my pregnant wife. We're expecting our first kid, a girl, and my wife Molly has this grandiose vision for what the nursery should look like. It's supposed to be bright white with wood tones, lots of greenery. Boho themed, I think, is what she calls it or referenced it. Is that right? Boho themed. She tells me that she wants the nursery to be the guest bedroom, and in my mind, the home office would make the perfect room for our future daughter. It just felt right, and I'm not gonna lie, I fought for it in that moment. After all, I was sacrificing my home office for our daughter. I thought that guests, once she was born, they would be coming over to visit more and more, and they would just need that nice room. And the nursery could be the home office. It just made sense to me, and you know what? I always thought that I was right. Molly finally gave in and agreed reluctantly, and we got to work painting the home office and putting furniture together, the dresser, the crib, getting it in place. And we took a step back and we looked at our creations, and we were proud of our engineering minds and problem-solving skills. And got to thank the IKEA instruction manuals, give them a shout out for that, because we couldn't have done it without them. But there was one massive problem still. There wasn't any room. There wasn't any room. The home office, now nursery, looked like a closet. The room was tiny. There was no way that we could function in there, just me and Molly ourselves, let alone putting a baby in there too. We're still waiting for the rocking chair that we ordered. Like, it was not gonna work. It was a disaster. And I was starting to realize that I was wrong more and more as each second went on. And I just couldn't fathom it. Have you ever been wrong before? Like, you're wrong. You're wrong in the situation, but you do everything to continue to fight to be right. Like, that was me. Molly was standing there, and we were talking about switching the guest bedroom and the nursery. And I didn't want to. Remember, I'm right. I was moving the crib and dresser back and forth to see if there could be one layout that could possibly work in the room. I was desperate. I wanted to find it. And time after time after time again, it was a no, nothing, nada. I was a desperate 30-year-old dad with only one last hope. I FaceTimed my mom. FaceTime my mom. She had done this before, you know. I wanted to see if her genius input could make a difference in the room layout. I got her on the phone. I explained the entire situation, and what she said next changed my perspective on everything. She said, Zach, the world doesn't need more people who want to be right. It's not how relationships work, Zach. It's not how love works. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, but what about the layout, Mom? Like, where can I put the crib? Needless to say, we switched rooms. Our daughter's nursery is now in what used to be the guest bedroom, and our guest bedroom is now in the old nursery that was a nursery for a day. It looked like a closet. It's tiny, but it's in there now. And each day that goes by, I'm starting to understand what my mom said more and more. The world doesn't need more people who want to fight to be right. The world needs more people to fight for love. And there's this quote from C.S. Lewis. I think it goes, humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less. And another way to say it, the way I say it, is it's not loving yourself less, it's loving others more. After all, we're all imperfect people. We're just trying to figure this all out together. So we can fight for love. We can fight for kindness. We can fight with humble and heroic hearts.